What is going on, guys? Today we are going to be installing a fuel pump. So I went with the AEM 320 liter per hour fuel pump. If you want this, it's going to be in the description. As always, there's a bunch of other stuff in the description as well that I've put on the RBS 13 in case you want to pick it up for your own build. So this is the box it comes in. This thing is actually really tiny. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's only that big. That's insane. So we've got a little baby fuel pump right in here. This thing, for some reason, smells interesting. I don't know what smell that is, but it's really fucking strong, too. Holy shit. So in addition to the pump, it also comes with these guys. This is some fuel line. Put that there. It comes with this guy, which I believe goes on the bottom of the fuel pump. This is the little like sleeve that it goes in, I guess like a dampening thing, and then this guy, I guess he goes on the bottom of the fuel pump or the top. I'm not too sure yet. Also comes with this. This is the filter. Sometimes it's referred to as the sock for whatever reason. And then we've got some hose clamps in here, and we got our plug to wire up this fuel pump, and it's just power and ground, real simple. It comes with what I'm assuming are instructions. This is not the E85 compatible one because I'm not going to be running E85, in case you were wondering. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna be good. We're gonna be using some Dash 6 AN hose on the fuel rail, so we'll be good there. We're not going to be 499 horsepower, we'll be fine. But apparently this can support up to 1100 horsepower. And I don't know if that's with just one pump or two, but that's pretty good. We're not going to be anywhere near there though. But yeah, that's it. Let's pull this pump out. I need to let it like air out something, because that smell is fucking terrible. Alright, but it also says that this fuel pump needs a 15 amp fuse on the power circuit, so now we know what size fuse to use for our fuel pump. Alright, so to install the fuel pump, you have to take the old one out, and in our case it's under here. If your S13 has carpet, I'm assuming it's under it, and it's going to be in this area to the right of the spare tire. And you got to take this section off just so you have more room, because normally you have this harness plugged in there and then the harness doesn't allow it to move that far. So if you want more wiggle room, you take this off and you even unplug it, and then you take these four out, and then there's gonna be more underneath. Alright, so now we've got all the screws out, so we can pop that off, and that's where the plug is for the fuel pump. So you can just unplug it right there, take this bad boy off, move him to the side, and then you have to take all these out plus remove these fuel hoses. So when taking the fuel hoses off, you're going to want to put some rags there, because fuel is most likely going to come out unless there's no fuel in the tank. But I think I have like 3/4 of a tank or something, and it's all bad gas now, which sucks. I'll have to drain it before I do the first startup, but oh well, it happens. But yeah, so now we just got to get these off, and then we can push the hoses off, and it's usually never easy. But I think it goes without saying, don't have any flames near here. Don't be a dumbass. It's just not a good idea. It's not smart. So I got the hoses off, and I actually didn't have any gas come out. So I guess maybe when the car's not on, well, when the car's not on, no fuel's going through it, but I guess there's no like leftover fuel. I guess it's normal. So now we've got our bolts off the fuel tank. They are 6 8mm bolts, and once you have that off, then you kind of just like maneuver it out, and yeah, we've got a lot of gas in here. you've got to like kind of maneuver it because of the fuel sending unit. That guy, and I think mine is bad. I'm going to take a look at the wiring, and hopefully it's the wiring that's bad, because I'd like to have a working gas gauge, as I've said a couple times before. Okay, so let's take this, we'll set it down here for right now. But yeah, there's our fuel pump right there. And there's in the tank. I have gas, I just don't have as much as I thought I did, but that's better to have less than I thought I did, because in my situation that gas has been sitting for quite some time now. And here's the stock fuel pump, and here's the AAM fuel pump, and it is maybe a little bit longer, just a tad bit longer. However, it is a lot skinnier, like significantly skinnier. And that's pretty crazy. That's awesome. It's also got a plug too, instead of 2 terminals there. It's got an actual plug, so that's pretty sweet. And yeah, just all around better. I actually had a Walboro 255 in the 240 before when I got the car. I didn't know that, and I accidentally bought a OEM replacement fuel pump because that's what I was under the impression that's what we had, and we didn't. Yeah, and the Walboro took a shit on me, and yeah, I had to get a new fuel pump, and if I would have known, I would have gotten the Walboro then, and honestly, if I did that, I probably wouldn't have upgraded the fuel pump. But this is better than a Walboro. 255 liters per hour. This is 340 liters per hour at 40 psi, and we're going to be at 43 psi, so it'll be pretty close to that, which is pretty sweet. And I mean, we're not even going to be at 400 horsepower, so we'll be good. Alright, so we got the fuel pump ready to go. We put the little filter on, and we put this, like, koozie, I guess? It's like a... yeah, I mean, that's what it is. And it's got this, like, plate there to keep this on, and it's also got a little, like, ring that's, like, super fucking tiny, and it came in this little bag, and that goes on the pin on there to help hold the filter on so it doesn't fall off, and then this also holds the filter on as well. But yeah, we're ready to get her in. So I got some bad news. Unfortunately, I figured out why my gas gauge does not work. The fuel sensor is bad, the fuel level sensor, and unfortunately it's quite a hard part to come by, so I'm going to be scouring OfferUp. And if a 240 popped up in a junkyard, then, like, you know, maybe try to get that. But I mean, when's a 240 gonna go in a junkyard? But anyways, if you want to know how to test it, it's this yellow wire here on this second pin. That second pin right there, where my multimeter little prong is on, that is the wire for the sending sensor. And that pin here is this guy up there. It's this one on the top right. You can't really see, there he is. On this section, the only pin on the top, that is the wire for it. And to test it, that's continuity, that's good. When the fuel thing is down, this should be at like 80 ohms of resistance, and it's not, it's close to 0. When it's full, it should be at 0. And in the middle, I think it's like 40 or something. But yeah, it's not showing any resistance at all, meaning that's bad. So that's awesome. But besides that, everything else is good. Assuming the gas light is just bad as well. That comes with the whole sending unit, so once we find one of those, hopefully we can have a working gas gauge, because I have no idea how much gas this RB is going to use with this turbo and these 750cc injectors, so that's a little scary, but we'll figure it out. But yeah, so as far as the fuel pump goes, it's literally matched the color wires. Red is power, black is ground. It's very straightforward. Yeah, and then you put the fuel hose on. I had to cut it quite short because this pump is just a tad bit taller than the OEM one, so it is a snug fit, but it does fit, so that's awesome. And yeah, then you just put the 2 clamps, and then we are ready to throw her back in the car. And that's it, guys. The fuel pump is installed, so that's pretty sweet. So now we can actually get to wiring the fuel pump. So yeah, fuel pump's pretty easy to install. Not a whole lot goes into it. That is unfortunate that the fuel sensor unit thing, whatever the hell it's called, the thing that tells me where I'm at with my gas, that is bad. That's unfortunate. So we'll have to figure out what we're going to do about that. But yeah, apart from that, everything's good. So yeah, I am working on the wiring. It is taking a little bit of time, but we are making pretty good progress on it. We're about halfway done. And once we get that done, then that video will go up. That video is going to be like 45 minutes, maybe like 55 minutes. It's going to be a long one, but it's super in-depth. You'll be able to make your own chassis harness after watching that video. That's the goal anyways. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. I'll link it up there when it's done. And also, fuel pump in the description if you want to pick it up for yourselves. I would say if you're thinking about getting a Walbro 255, you should really consider getting this one instead. It's 10 bucks cheaper and it flows more, and if you have a fuel pressure regulator, then you can regulate the fuel pressure, keep it where you want it so you're not putting too much pressure in. Because I think that was the issue with my KA while I was running so rich. It had the stock fuel pressure regulator, which is non-adjustable, and it had a Walbro 255, so it was pumping more, but the fuel pressure regulator wasn't working too well, so it was running super rich and it would spit fire, and eventually I think that's what killed it. But alright guys, I'm gonna end it here. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like if you did, comment down below, and hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.